Two young women get abducted but find a way to turn the tables on their captors. Katie joins her friends on a field to drink when one of them passes around recreational pills for them. Everyone gets excited except for Katie, who refuses to take any. Her best friend, Sloan, however, insists that she does. In the end, Katie is pressured into joining her friends. After enjoying the effects in the forest, Katie and Sloan head to Katie's room to rest and discuss their plan to shop in New York. Katie's mother arrives and announces that the young woman will be staying at Katie's uncle's place tomorrow so he can drop them off at the bus station the morning after. Katie then tells her mother that they'll be working on a community-supported organic farm, making her mother proud. However, Sloan admits that they're doing it to have shopping money, so Katie's mother thinks philanthropy's dead. The next day, Jason, Katie's uncle, who's an FBI detective, arrives. Before they leave, Katie tells her mother to have fun on her vacation in Cuba. As they head to Jason's home, Katie's phone rings with a suggestive ringtone, which Sloan changed as a prank. She answers her mother's call but can barely hear her. They soon arrive at Jason's house and meet his girlfriend, Gemma. That night, Sloan considers taking an alias like Heather. She asks Katie to call her Heather to try it out. When she's satisfied, she suggests that Katie uses an alias as well, so Katie chooses the name Ripley. The next day, Jason takes the girls to the bus station. Since the bus will arrive in an hour, he asks if they want him to wait with them, but Katie declines. Concerned, Jason reminds Katie to text him using a code, so he'll know it's her. When Sloan gets confused, Katie explains that her uncle is paranoid, so he wants code words following the alphabet in case they get abducted. Sloan thinks this is funny, so she teases Jason about it. After Jason leaves, Katie and Sloan send him a selfie with the code, making him smile. At a restaurant, Katie and Sloan meet two brothers named Jet and Lucas. They share that they'll be working on a farm to have shopping money and introduce themselves using their aliases. Jet offers them a ride to the farm, but Katie declines, so the guys leave. Once they're alone, Sloan argues that the brothers were respectful and attractive. Giving into pressure, Katie agrees, so they join them. On the road, Katie tells Jed that they just passed the farm, but he continues driving. Nervous, Katie and Sloan hold hands. They soon arrive at Jed and Lucas's family restaurant. Confused, Katie says they should get going, but Jed assures her that all farmers come to their place for supplies, and he's just helping them get acquainted with the area. Jed and Lucas's mother sees the girls, so she accommodates them. While she prepares their food, Katie texts Jason that they're okay, typing apple as the first code. However, when the girls eat the mother's pie, they suddenly get dizzy while the brothers corner them. Realizing what's happening, Sloan and Katie run, so the mother tells her sons to go after them. Not long after, the brothers carry the girls back to their house. The next day, Katie and Sloan find themselves chained to shipping containers in a remote forest. Scared, the girls scream and bang their chains on the container, hoping that someone will hear them. However, Jed arrives and assures them that no one will hear them since they're miles away from people. He advises them that if they obey, their life will be easy. He then hands them personal items and mentions their amenities, such as a bed in their shipping container, outdoor showers, a generator for lamps, and even a toilet that they will clean up for them. Katie demands to be released, but Jed ignores her and just comments that they're not savages. After some time, Boris, the mastermind, meets them. When he sees Jed, he hits him for taking his truck without permission. Boris apologizes to Katie and Sloan, saying it's his job to keep them healthy. He then takes Katie's phone from his pocket and asks who Jason is, so Katie admits that he's her uncle. Suspecting that Katie's using her alias, Boris asks if Ripley is her real name, so Sloan answers on her behalf. Unconvinced, Boris scares Katie into telling the truth. Noticing the code Katie sent, Boris believes it's a safety word, so he replies to Jason using the same code. Terrified, Katie backs away. In the kitchen, Gemma prepares food when she sees the reply from Jason's phone, completely unbothered by it. In the forest, Lucas teaches the girls how to use the portable shower while Jed guards them. When Boris leaves, Jed scares the girls by pointing an unloaded gun at them, so Katie and Sloan scream in fear. Sheriff Andrews hears them, so he aims a gun at Jed. Katie and Sloan run behind him, pleading for help. Suddenly, Andrew bursts into laughter while taking Jed into his arms since he's one of their clients. Andrews then stares suggestively at the ladies, deciding to take them one at a time. He gets his pill and tells the girls he'll see them later. While Jed takes Andrews away, Katie and Sloan plead to Lucas for help, but he merely asks them if they have allergies. Sloan angrily blurts out that they're allergic to being kidnapped, but Lucas just locks them into one of the containers. After some time, Andrews leaves Katie's container, satisfied with the experience. When he's gone, Sloan goes to comfort Katie, who's suffering in silence. Meanwhile, Jason worries about his niece while searching for his phone, so Gemma assures him they're fine since she saw Katie's text earlier. However, he gets alarmed when he notices that Katie used the same code. Gemma, however, thinks that Katie's just confused. In the forest, Jed and Lucas arrive with a customer who picks Sloan. Katie gets nervous for Sloan, who's scared and speechless. Afraid, Sloan lies in bed with the man beside her. Sloan gets disgusted, so she spits at his face. The man gets mad, so he slaps her, making her cry. Afterward, the man lifts her shirt, with Sloan unable to move. He then burns her stomach using a cigarette, so she screams in pain while Katie cries outside, unable to help her. At the same time, Jason calls the farm and discovers that the girls didn't arrive. Gemma approaches with her luggage as the two are supposed to meet her parents, insisting that Katie and Sloan are grown-ups. Still, he's not convinced that they're okay, so he decides to look for them. Meanwhile, Jed and Lucas check on the girls' chains, mentioning that the girls before them tried to escape. Suddenly, they hear someone yelling from afar, so Jed and Lucas put hoods on the girls, warning them not to remove them since he's coming. The brothers then position the girls, looking nervous. A man wearing all black with a pig mask shows up, imitating a pig's snort. He goes near them, so Jed and Lucas take the girls' hoods off. Terrified, Katie and Sloan scream in fear. The masked man points at Sloan and grabs her chin while she continues to scream. He forces her inside the container and a helpless Katie cries. Later, Katie comforts her friend who's devastated by what happened. At the sheriff's office, Jason alerts Andrews about Katie and Sloan's disappearance. Andrews suggests that teenagers test their guardians occasionally, but Jason believes they were kidnapped since Katie didn't use their safety code. Hearing this, Andrews promises to look into it. At the forest, Boris orders Jed to get Sloan. Seeing her miserable, Boris asks her what's wrong. He then points at Katie and accuses her of lying about the text to her uncle. Taking Jed away, Boris orders him to get rid of the girls since the FBI might get involved, given that Katie's uncle is a detective. He thinks that the detectives will leave them alone once they find the girls' bodies in the morning. However, Katie overhears this, alarming her. As they return to check on them, Katie hurriedly sits on her bed with Boris going inside. On the other hand, Sloan feels distressed, crying non-stop. Meanwhile, Jason stops by the restaurant in front of the bus station to ask about the girls. He shows an employee a picture of them who recognizes them. The employee reveals that two guys picked them up, describing them as good-looking men with a blue pickup. Before Jason leaves, the employee mentions the vehicle having a lewd bumper sticker. In the forest, Katie tells Sloan they must escape since the men plan to kill them. Suddenly, Boris, Jed, and the man who chose Sloan before arrive. The two leave the girls to the client, though Boris tells him not to touch the girls until the sheriff arrives. Alone with the man, Katie openly wonders if the two are going to get new girls, but the man claims he doesn't know. When asked what happened to the girls before them, the man doesn't share, so Katie believes they're dead, but the man denies it. Katie then seduces him by removing her shirt. The man gets tempted, letting her approach him. Suddenly, Katie bites his neck, instantly killing him. The girls then remove their handcuffs to escape. On the way to pick up Katie and Sloan, the sheriff speaks with someone about Jason's discovery. Annoyed, he demands Boris to burn the truck with the girls' bodies. Andrew soon arrives at the forest but discovers that the girls are gone. Suddenly, his police car drives off as the girls have snuck in, so Andrews calls Boris. Finally escaping, Katie and Sloan drive away, passing by girls that might soon be victims on the road. Realizing that it won't stop after they've escaped, they decide to take matters into their own hands. The girls head to a hardware store to buy weapons and tools. While they pay for the items, Katie asks if the clerk knows Boris. In response, the store clerk gulps in fear. Meanwhile, Jason goes to an insurance agency, claiming that he accidentally backed his car against a blue pickup with a lewd bumper sticker. He lies that he wants to search for the owner so he can deal with the damages. So the women reveal that the only pickup in the registry is Boris Carlson's. Since his address isn't listed, the older woman calls the DMV to check. That afternoon, Boris arrives home and notices someone turning the record player on. Suspicious, he takes a weapon when suddenly Katie throws a spiked tennis ball at his face. Unable to see clearly, Boris gets mad. The girl continues to throw spiked balls at him, which makes Sloan feel better. The girls lay Boris on the table with his face down while he pleads for them to stop. He offers them money, but to no avail. While interrogating him, Katie and Sloan create a weapon using nails. Negotiating with the girls, Boris tells them where he keeps his money, so Katie goes to retrieve it. She gets the box and opens it, satisfied with the amount of money. Meanwhile, Jason finally arrives at Boris's house. Gemma calls him, so he assures her that he'll make it up to her parents. Boris continues to plead to be released, but Katie asks where they can find the masked man. Scared, Boris refuses to say, noting that he's done everything they've asked. But Sloan hands her makeshift weapon to Katie. Surprised, Boris reminds them of their promise, but Sloan reminds him that he planned to kill them earlier. Boris screams as Katie and Sloan position the weapon, mercilessly pushing it inside. Hearing someone scream, Jason gets off the phone and heads inside the house. He barges in with his gun at hand and sees Boris's condition. He then hurries outside, seeing the blue pickup fleeing the area. Later, Jason goes to the sheriff's office to meet with Andrews. He asks the sheriff if he's alone, so Andrews confirms that his men are out on roadblocks. Hearing this, Jason then tries to call Katie's phone. Suddenly, he hears the suggestive ringtone from Andrews, confirming that he has Katie's phone. Shocked, the sheriff immediately points his gun at him. The girls then arrive at a church where they see the masked man, who is a pastor. Sloan confidently enters the church with her weapon, ready to kill him. The masked man addresses her as Jezebel and stresses he has him on his side, but Sloan argues that she has a BFF. Suddenly, Katie hits the pastor from behind, knocking him out. The girls then drive around town, taking a longer path to their destination. When they arrive, they check on the pastor, who's tied to the vehicle and bloodied after being dragged around the road. The girls then head into a convenience store to buy matches. Struggling to crawl, the pastor continues to angrily note Bible verses. While he does, Sloan soaks him in gasoline, then Katie lights up a matchstick, throwing it on the floor. Satisfied, they leave him burning as they continue their journey. In a room, Andrews ties Jason and declares his intentions to the girls once he finds them. Seething in rage, Jason curses at him, but Andrews is unbothered, sure that the girls will come looking for him but will find him as a corpse. Andrew then plays a radio loudly and leaves Jason. He then brings in new women he's captured into a separate room. Unbeknownst to Andrews, Katie and Sloan sneak behind him and knock him out. They tie Andrews to a chair while he begs for them to release him, even offering money. The girls laugh at how everyone keeps bargaining with money. Katie then makes Andrews pick one of her hands. He chooses her right hand, revealing a bullet. Katie teases him, saying he's lucky. Sloan also makes him pick a hand, choosing right once again, only to get a bunch of matchsticks. She then tells him he's unlucky this time. Nervous, Andrew asks what will happen, so Katie and Sloan explain that they'll play Russian roulette. While Katie loads the gun, Andrew closes his eyes, begging. She pulls the trigger, but it's empty. On edge, Andrew screams as Sloan pulls the trigger next, but it's empty again. From the other room, Jason shouts in frustration, unaware of what's happening. For the fourth shot, Sloan pulls the trigger but is still unloaded. For the last shot, Andrew screams, but the gun is still unloaded. Seeing him crying and pleading, Katie and Sloan tease him. He then apologizes, but Katie shoots him, this time sending a bullet through his temple. The captured women later untie Jason, explaining that Katie and Sloan killed Andrews. However, they're no longer around. That night, Jed and Lucas's mother drinks when she suddenly passes out. When she wakes up, she finds herself tied to a chair while Jed is kneeling on a stack of books with a noose around his neck. The mother begs for his son's life, but Katie kicks the boot, only to have his noose come apart. Katie smiles, claiming that they aren't monsters. However, they pull Jed up, and Sloan hits Jed with a bat. The girls then mercilessly beat him while his mother cries. Seething in rage, the mother declares she'll kill both of them. However, Sloan says she's glad she got to witness her son's death, so they drag her in front of Lucas, who's also been captured. Lucas scolds his mother, reminding her that he told them they shouldn't be doing this, so he begs and apologizes to them. Hearing this, Sloan unties Lucas and hands him the bat, demanding him to hit his mother or he'll die. His mother pleads for him not to do it, so Lucas kneels and negotiates that if they let him go, he won't say anything. Despite this, Sloan shoots him. Katie then instructs Sloan to shoot Lucas with the gun in his hand to make it look like he killed the others before killing himself. The mother threatens they'll be caught, but Katie shares that her uncle's a cop who told her how it isn't easy to investigate evidence, so they wipe down everything except those that had Lucas's prints on them. Again, the mother offers them money in exchange for her life. The girls laugh and pretend to take the deal, only for Katie to turn on the weed whacker. The mothers scream as Katie sends the weed whacker into her face. Days later, Jason picks up Katie and Sloan at his sister's residence to take them to the airport. Before leaving, Katie's mother reminds her daughter to update Jason every day they're in New York. She then asks him if she should be worried, so Jason assures her they're smart. At the airport, Katie and Sloan pass by a man with a sign for the organic farm. Two other women approach him as the horrors might still not be over.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.